Welcome to this life of ours. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be making our Christmas cookies and desserts. So we thought we'd bring you along. The first thing I'm going to make is Whoopie Pies. So I have a half a cup of Hershey's Cocoa, the special dark. I'm going to add that to a bowl along with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And then I have 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to whisk those all together. Then we're going to set the dry ingredients aside. And in a stand mixer, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this by hand, but it's going to take a little bit longer. So I have a half a cup of shortening. I'm using Crisco. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. And I'm just going to mix that until it's nice and creamy. Once that's creamy, you want to scrape down your bowl. I did scrape it down once during mixing just to make sure everything was down in the bowl. And I'm going to add 1 room temperature egg. And mix that in. Just for about 30 seconds. And again, I'm going to scrape down my bowl. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of whole milk. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This is my homemade vanilla extract. So 2 teaspoons of that. And again, mix for 1 to 2 minutes until everything is combined. Once that's all mixed together, I'm going to add about 1/3 of our dry ingredients that we set aside before. And I'm going to give that a good mix for a minute or just until everything has combined. Then I'm just going to scrape down the bowl again and add another 1/3 of my dry ingredients. And mix again for about a minute. And scrape down the bowl again and add the rest of my dry ingredients. And give it one final mix. Once it's all done mixing, you just want to scrape off your paddle and scrape down your bowl. And make sure that everything from the bottom has been mixed in. Once that's mixed well, you just want to take a cookie sheet and I line it with parchment paper. I have my oven preheating to 450 degrees. And you're just going to take a spoonful. I'm only going to put 6 on a cookie sheet because they do spread out quite a bit. And that's probably about a tablespoon and a half or a little bit more, depending on how big you want your whoopie pies. Once you have them all on your pan, just put them in a preheated 450-degree oven for 6 to 7 minutes. They still might look wet on top when you take them out, but that's okay. You don't want to overcook them. I'll be back and show you what they look like. So it's been about 6.5 minutes, and you can see that they're a little bit wet looking, but that's what you want to see. You don't want them completely cooked. They're going to cook a little bit longer just sitting here. So I'm going to put them on a cooling rack, and you want to cool these completely before you put the filling in. Now that our whoopie pies are done, we need to make the filling. So I'm going to add 1 cup of confectionary or powdered sugar, whatever you call it. A 1/2 cup of shortening. Again, I'm using Crisco. A 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you need 8 ounces of marshmallow fluff. So these are 16 ounces. I'm going to use half of this. And this does get a little messy, but it's worth it in the end. And that's about half. And 1 tablespoon of whole milk. And I'm just going to mix that. I'm going to start it on low just so that the confectionery sugar doesn't all fly out of there. And I'm going to let that mix for about a minute. And then I'm going to scrape the bowl down and let it mix for another minute. Okay, so we made 2 batches of these. One batch made 22 cakes and one batch made 24 cakes. So we got 11 whoopie pies because you need 2 for each whoopie pie. 11 out of one and 12 out of another. So we're going to take the cream and you just want to spread it on. You can put as much or as little as you like. Just put some on the top, bottom, whatever you want to call it. And squish it down with another. You want to try to match the sizes as close as you can. And I'm just going to fill all of them. And put the cover on. Once you have them all put together, I'm just going to wrap these in saran wrap. You could also use sandwich baggies, whatever you have, but it does keep them fresh. And I do put these in the refrigerator if we're not going to eat them right away. These are easy to make. I hope you give them a try. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you join us on the next one.